Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Bailey Marie Griggs and her band. It's everybody say, hey, introduce yourself, and we'll get going.
Hello, I'm Scott Moon. I play drums for Bailey.
Greg Cooper. I play lead guitar for Bailey.
I'm Bailey, and I sing
For Bailey.
for Bailey.
So you started playing solo, doing acoustic. How did the band come together? Because I know Scott, you're kind of recent addition to the band, right?
Right.
And for those who don't know, me and Scott have known each other for a while now. We're friends, so we're comfortable and stuff. But talk about how the band came together, because since we've opened, I've watched your career trajectory over the last year and a half. You're making moves, things are getting momentum. So what made you make the decision to put a band together and then take this route?
Yeah, I mean, I first started off with just learning guitar, me, and just doing as many shows as I could, just acoustic with me. But there's bigger venues that require a band, and a band has always been something that I've always wanted to put together and have it my band. But I feel like it just has been a thought, and then it just kind of goes away, and we don't really act on it. And then whenever, we found these venues that, are really good venues and we think that people would really enjoy coming to, that's whenever we really started looking for a band. And then I found these guys on the road.
How'd you guys get hooked up with Bailey?
Well, her dad called me. I guess this was about October, September, October. He just called me out of the blue one day. I didn't know him. He said, hey, I'm putting together a band for my daughter. And I said, okay. He said, it's country. I said, I'm not interested. And he said, well, let me tell you a little bit about her, and I said, well, that sounds cool and it's interesting, and I said, and he said, well, do you know any guitar players? And I said, I've got a guy in mind that might be great for you. So I gave him Greg's number. So he reached out to Greg, and Greg started, doing a couple little shows with her, playing some stuff. And Greg called me up. He said, man, you need to take a second look at this. This would be fun. The songs are good. She's an incredible singer and artist. And he said, and I was like, well, I'm open to trying something different. I'm an old school rock and metal guy from back in the 80s, and I'm playing a band called String Theory with Roger, and we do classic rock, and and I'm playing a Beatles tribute band. But I said, I'm been doing this really strong for 5 years, been playing every weekend. And I was like, well, I'm kind of ready to try something different, learn some different songs. I'm kind of sick of the same old Elton John and Styx every week. And I was like, this would be kind of fun to try something different. So we got together and rehearsed. And the first time we rehearsed, I was like, wow, this really sounds good, And the songs were different, and it was fun. It was a challenge to go and learn songs I'd never heard before. I didn't know anything about them, but learning them, they grow on you really quick. And it's like, wow, these are fun to play, and they sound good, and the band sounds so good. And so I called up Roger from my other band, and I was like, Roger, you need to join this band. He's like, no, I'm not playing country. No, I'm not. I don't have time. I said, Roger, please, come on, do it. And after a little persuasion, he said, well, let's get together and practice and try it. And here we are. We got together and started rehearsing, and we got a couple of our friends to come sing background vocals. And once we all got together in the same room, all 7 of us, we were just like, man, it sounds really amazing.
Bailey, talk about what that felt like, being in the practice room, going from solo acoustic to having a full band. I mean, that had to be a little bit overwhelming, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely different because normally whenever you're doing, if I'm playing guitar and it's just me and my voice, I have to focus on mainly my voice and just me playing a little bit of guitar. But whenever I'm with a band, I have to really focus on the timing of everybody. I have to focus on, more than what I'm doing. And so I feel like the first band rehearsal was, chaotic as they all are, but then after that, I feel like everything just kind of fell into place.
And shout out to your dad for helping, reaching out. It's really cool. We get to talk to a lot of artists here on the show, and one of the things I love about a lot of the younger artists that we deal with is how supportive their parents are.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a generation where, you just didn't see that a lot. My parents, it took 2 years of playing for my parents to even be like, okay, maybe there's something here. Most of our parents are like, turn that off.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I got to hit the rewind button on Scott's story. I'm sitting here thinking about it. You've got to know how spontaneous and creative this guy is, because I'm running errands in my car. Scott calls me up and goes, "Hey, man, I got an extra ticket to the Tenacious D concert. You want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." I go, "When?" He goes, "Well, you got to be here in 45 minutes. So I go. We hop in the car. Boom, we're going to the Tenacious D concert. So, if you get there to the PNC Music Pavilion, you want to go get your drinks and everything, go get your seat and get situated. We get our drinks, we're getting situated, and Scott goes, "Hey, man, don't let me forget to tell you, there's like this really great girl that's a singer-songwriter out of Nashville looking for a guitar player. Can I give her your number?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay." Boom, that's how it started.
Okay.
Just like that.
Now, talk a little bit about your experience. Have you've been in other bands before, right?
I have. I've
Do you
played
come
here.
from the country world?
Well, I come from like the southern rock world.
Okay.
In the mid '90s, I was in a band called Bounty Hunter, and we were like an Allman Brothers, Outlaws, Skinner, Molly Hatchet tribute kind of thing, and did that for years.
I'd book that.
So I had that bass under me, and then I'd gotten the chance to play in another band called Gator McCluskey, and it was all country, and it was like rock country. It was like David Allan Coe country and stuff like that, and so I kind of cut my teeth on that back in Southern Illinois before I moved out here. So it was a really natural progression, and her songs cross over so many genres too.
I was going to ask, what percentage of your set is original? How much are you covering? And how much of that is intentional? What's your philosophy on?
Yeah,
that?
so whenever we first started making the set list, because our first really big band show together that we was preparing for months was in January at Amos' South End in Charlotte. And I was trying to add songs because we never played together before, and I didn't think that the originals were going to go over as well as they did, and so I had about I don't know, I guess 4 or 5 originals on my set list whenever we played in Charlotte. And, everybody there, they were really liking the originals. And so now I have definitely added in more originals. And I know a lot of, because whenever I start my set list, I try and put a good song that is going to get everybody's attention, and people are just going to have fun listening to it. And so I feel like the way that I set up set lists and everything is very intentional, just trying to get the audience's attention. And yeah, definitely with the original songs and the original music, I've added more over time. And it's cool because, a lot of people, it's your songs that you've written, and so seeing people that really enjoy listening to it is really cool, and I get to add more of it.
That's very cool. We're going to welcome Ariel to the show. Ariel's late. So come on in, Ariel.
Supervisor.
Yeah. So it's, I'm always interested in people's philosophy on how they decide to put together set lists. With us being a venue, we see it all, right? We see hip hop, we see country, we see heavy metal, rock and roll, and we always get bigger crowds for your tributes and your cover bands than we do for originals. And a lot of times, the tribute shows are a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong; they are so much fun. That's what pays the bills. It's what keeps the lights on. It's why we can do so much original stuff. And you got a lot of different people that have a different philosophy. I'm not covering nothing. I'm going to do mine. Then you got bands that kind of understand. Sometimes you need to grab someone's attention with a cover. I personally have, since we opened this place, I've even created playlists on Spotify to share with everyone, to highlight the local scene, and this is what people are doing to try to encourage people to give original stuff more of a more of a chance. Now, I know you go back and forth to Nashville a lot. Is it like that there as well? Because Nashville's this big, huge, it's the mother of country music, right? So are people as supportive of the original stuff there as they are of the cover and the tributes?
I think so. I think it's like the places that you play in Nashville. I'm going to say it's more of, the outskirts of Nashville that are really into like original music. Like downtown, I wouldn't really know much about that.
Well, that's where Vanderbilt is.
Yeah, right.
It is a college town
there,
too.
Like right there on Broadway. I mean, every time I've been down to Broadway, I hear Miranda Lambert's music playing and, a lot of cover music. But every time I go there, I play a writer's round, which is nothing but original music. And so they get lots of supports and everything for their original music. And I mean, there's more than just the place that I play. Like, there's writer's rounds all around Nashville that you strictly do original music. And so I feel like it gets a lot of support in Nashville.
Right on. What about you guys? What's your philosophy? Because I know I know, Scott, you've got a couple different tribute cover things going. Have you ever considered doing original stuff, or did you do original stuff before?
Yeah, back in the 80s, my band was all original, 100% original band. And that was back when we were focused on trying to get signed and all that big dream of the 80s. But, after that, when I had kids, shut it all down for 15, 20 years. And once the kids got in high school and we're never home anymore, I was like, okay, let's get back into it. But it's definitely... when originals are good, when the songs are good, that's when it's just so fun to play them. And her originals are just amazing. She's got, how many originals, Bailey, do you have? 60?
Like 60 or more.
And she writes with a lot of songwriters, but she's, and it's amazing, some of these songs. And so
when you're doing originals, do you have any kind of do you have complete control over what you're writing right now, or does anyone have any kind of rights to your songs?
No, I have everything.
So have you recorded anything?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I'm actually going to Nashville next month and recording some new original music. But mainly my focus right now has been going and writing with different people, writing by myself, and just getting like a good catalog of songs.
Yeah, and it's cool that I didn't know you had 60 songs. That's incredible, especially for a young lady. That's it's funny, on the way in today I was thinking about having you guys in today and the dichotomy of where you're at in life and career wise and stuff, because I did the same thing Scott did. I kind of put everything on hold to raise kids, and then here I am in my 40s. Playing around. It's in decision making, right? Like, you got to decide, which path am I going to take? Because you can be irresponsible. You can go spit some kids out and then still try to live this life, and then your kids suffer because you're not home, or that kind of thing. Have you given much thought to like your career path in that sense?
I mean, yeah, I definitely, if things progress and everything, because I'm still working on, because I've been looking at going to college, maybe in Nashville, and just really working on, because I honestly don't feel like I don't need to go to school for music, like, because I've been doing it a lot without taking classes for music and like getting a degree in music, because I just don't feel like. And music is not always promised. You're not always saying like, oh, you're going to make it big, and that's not promised to you. And so I feel like, having music, and if it does, that's great. I'm set. And but I feel like, going to college and going to school with music, and then also having, like a backup plan.
Well, the business end of things is, if I was to give you any advice, I'd definitely go to college just to learn the business side of things. Yeah. Because there's a lot of shiesty people out there, a lot of people that are just waiting for an opportunity to take what you made and make a profit off of it. It happens all the time, all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's more beneficial, like getting the business side of things.
Yeah, and then, you said yourself early on, being a female in this business, there are certain vulnerabilities you have that is not as prevalent with males in the industry. So having a good business mind is and it helps to have supportive parents. It seems like your parents kind of help you out a little bit with that. But at some point, it's going to be all you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's tools that you need in your toolbox.
Yeah.
Well, she's surrounded with good people.
That
Even
helps too.
The people in Nashville, it seems like, have really taken Bailey under her wing and helped guide her through the process. Her mom's made amazing contacts there. One of her producers got a son that's an entertainment lawyer, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It is true. I've had a lot of these conversations in private with people about how, where opportunity, the it's the right way to say it. Where you're at and who you're surrounded by has a lot to do with how far you can go and how far you can take whatever the thing is you're doing. Not everyone gets to, not everyone has that luxury to have good people surrounding them in life, and that's why those success stories are so captivating to all of us when you see someone that comes from nothing that finds a way to make it. But it's way better to have the support structure around you.
Oh, yeah.
And so and it does give you a bit of a leg up. Now, but the difference is you have to work even harder because there's someone right behind you that doesn't have that structure that's working just as hard, if not harder, to get it. It is.
Because you have to do that to stand out.
Yeah, you
if
have
not,
to.
you're just white noise.
Yeah, this is kind of the nice way of saying, where you're at in life has a lot to do with where you can go in life.
Yeah.
And, I think it's more tragic to have these advantages and screw it up, than to never have had the opportunity to begin with. So my advice on that would be lean into these relationships.
Yeah.
And, if you, most of us have an intuition about us that kind of knows if the people in our life are on our side or not. You just got to watch out for the snakes, man.
There's a lot in the music industry. There's a lot.
And how many people have made it big out of Gastonia? Because when I came out here and I started hearing the people that have made it big, we talked about 3 of them the other day that we know for sure that went right up there.
Who are your 3?
So like Fred Durst,
Yeah.
he made it. And
Sammy Johns,
way
back into
Wasn't
Way
Percy
back.
Sledge from here too? Or am I wrong?
Who's that?
Percy Sledge. Wasn't he? I think he was from here or near here.
And
And
if you,
the country artist that we talked about, now I can't think of his name, went to Ashbrook.
Oh,
Luke.
no, Luke Combs is
No,
from
Luke
South
Jimmy
Carolina.
Wayne. Yeah, he's not from here.
Who'd you say?
Jimmy Wayne.
Jimmy Wayne.
Oh yeah.
But then you also have Patty Loveless from Kings Mountain, and Eric
Wow.
Church from right up 321. What's the name of that town?
There's Luke Combs.
Luke Combs.
Luke
Where'd
Combs
he,
is from
where'd
South
he go to
Carolina.
school?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny. Jimmy Wayne actually dated my cousin Melissa when they were teenagers.
Wow.
One of my closest.
Yeah, I remember him coming, bringing his guitar to like Thanksgiving dinner and stuff, and kind of sitting off in the corner. He never put that guitar down.
So you want to hear something weird?
Yeah.
One of my closest friends is Luke Combs' cousin, and we hung out with Luke Combs as like 13-year-olds. Didn't even know. I'm like, that's your.
That's why it's important to be nice to everybody.
It didn't link.
Yeah, that's why you should always be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
You just never know.
You never
You
know.
never know. You never know.
But the hunger, to be successful, like, you clearly have it. What's the motivation? Like, you're writing your own songs. You're doing what you're putting in the work. What's keeping you motivated and hungry?
Yeah, I feel like ever since I was like a kid, I still am, but like 8 years old, I've always wanted to like do this, and now that I'm actually doing it, I have it's just something that I want to progress in, and I feel like it would be really good to live up to what I've always wanted.
Who was that point for you that made it click when you were 8? Like, was it a certain artist? What was that defining moment?
Everybody tells me that I came out singing, and
Yeah.
so I started off with musical theater, and it's weird because I used to do so many musicals and so many plays, and now nobody can even pay me to go watch one, and I just can't do it anymore. I did so many. Like, if there was a musical, I was auditioning for it. Like, that was me. But as soon as I started, really taking lessons and stuff, because just randomly, because I started with acting, and then I started singing, and I think my mom actually said that I was doing like a karaoke thing. Like, I got a karaoke machine, and I was singing 3 Wooden Crosses in my living room, and she was like, wow, I think she can actually be a singer. And I never took it seriously like that because I obviously wasn't that good because
you were a kid.
You were a kid and you just loved doing it.
And which is cool now because I actually got to write a couple months ago with the guy that wrote Three Wooden Crosses.
That's cool.
Oh,
and so
wow.
now
Full circle.
Yeah, and so it comes back
Very
around.
cool.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever I realized I could do it, it was like something that I wanted to be good at. And so I continued to try.
Yeah, I mean, you have that bug, the entertainment bug. It's funny, some of the most talented people in this scene right now are theater kids. Like, I'm thinking about Trace Casanova right now, who will be here this Saturday.
Yeah. Did he ever tell you I was Sven? And he was Kristoff in Frozen. I'm telling you, I was a theater kid. You wouldn't guess it now.
Wait, he was Finn and you were Kristoff?
No, I was Sven. I was the reindeer.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I can't imagine him being a reindeer. He'd be the most extra reindeer ever.
Yeah. I was the best reindeer.
Yeah, I love that kid. Yeah. Is this the first time you guys will be performing on the same bill together?
No, he did. He actually performed at Amos's in Charlotte.
Right. And hosted the event with no notice.
Yeah.
Because the person that's going to be hosting us on the 16th couldn't make Amos's.
Yeah.
He's my first call every time we need someone to host something. He's my if Ariel can't be here for something or if Jade can't be here for open mic, he is always my first call.
Yeah, he's just a bubbly person. Like he's just
Yeah, super talented. But you can see him here this Saturday, the 16th, opening for Bailey Marie. Elijah Ray will be here as well. Another very young, talented kid in this area. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, there's just, it's bubbling. You know what I mean? It's bubbling right now. There's a handful of kids that are just putting in the work, doing all the stuff you need to do.
It's been on simmer for too long. We just cranked it up.
There's so much potential with this scene here.
On the bill.
Might want to mention.
Yeah, how could I forget Adam?
Who else is going to be on the bill?
Adam Church. He doesn't come in here every week. Okay, I'm sorry.
Nope.
He's too busy.
We were talking.
How did you manage that, by the way? I mean, that's not an easy thing to do to get a big name like that on a bill, and then have him go on before you.
I mean, whenever me and Adam started getting connected. Because I saw him in Luke Combs' video, and whenever Doing This came out by Luke, and he was in the video, and he was like, this Adam has been by my side throughout everything. I looked into Adam, and I was like, this is like a really genuine person, like a genuine nice, or he seemed to be genuinely nice, and then I met him, and I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. Like, he's just as he is on, social media. He's exactly what Luke said. And, so I sang out with him a couple of times. He would be playing in like Belmont, and I would go and I'd sing a couple of songs with him. And then I actually wrote a song with him and David Ryan a couple of weeks ago, and it's a really good song. It's a duet, and so I'm super excited about that one. And then you'll
be performing that here Saturday. Yeah. The duet, maybe.
We don't have it finished. Maybe, probably not, but yeah, it's really cool. It's like about, cause we didn't want it to be like, the basic love story song or like the basic love duet. And so it's about like, a daughter and a dad and how they don't have a good relationship. And I'm the daughter and he's the dad. And it's really good.
That's sweet.
I really like it.
That actually brings me to an interesting question. Country's country, right? It's kind of morphed over the years, from the country I grew up with, your Whalens and your Hanks and stuff. That's kind of the stuff I was into. And then, 80s, 90s, you had your George Straits and your Alan Jacksons. And then Garth Brooks come on and all of a sudden country's rock and roll for a minute. And then it got pop. And since the mid-90s, it seems like it's all, the majority of like radio country is kind of pop music, and they're all writing about the same stuff. What are you doing to stand out? And are you approaching songwriting in a different way where you're not writing about the same?
You're not writing about bonfires and lifted trucks.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
There is a song that says got the KC lights.
Got the KC lights pulled up in his Chevy truck. Yeah, trust me, I got one of those.
It's in there.
Yeah. I think one of the main things is like ever since I started writing songs, because I wrote the first song ever a couple years ago that I ever wrote, and it was just very true to like what I was, because I don't try and write about like fake stuff. I mean, I try and write about stuff that I've gone through or something that other people have gone through that I know about, and so it's just very genuine genuine stuff that I write about.
So you would say that your songs have a personal touch.
Yeah, I think every song that I have has a personal touch.
That's cool. Yeah, I think that's probably my issue with like the poppy country is that it's like, in my mind, when I hear some of that stuff, it's like you're singing like you're playing to like the lowest common denominator. Yeah,
did you really?
Yeah, it's like, and you know, I'm being a bit of a music snob when I say this, but I want the stuff that I listen to, the stuff that I put in my brain to have some depth. You know what I mean?
There was something that John, I can't remember the quote exactly, but it was Johnny Cash, and he said something about you can't sing about stuff that you hadn't lived or something to that extent. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, back then, I mean, you know, you got when Johnny Cash and those guys in Waylon, when they were all writing music, they were telling stories.
Yeah.
Man. They were telling stories, and you know, before then, I think maybe the Beatles was like the first like big explosion. Well, Elvis was kind of like the original rock star.
Yeah.
And you know, then you got all these old country guys writing these songs about stuff that we're all going through, and having like just this. They had a personal touch with their songs, and then that kind of got away from the genre for a while. But there are some diamonds in the rough, man. You know, there are guys like Chris Stapleton. There's guys like Sturgill Simpson that are killing it by doing it different. And that's kind of why I asked that, like, because really you're gonna find yourself at some point, like, how do you stand out?
Yeah.
You know, as a young female in the genre, and there's a lot of really good singers out there, so you gotta have something different, right?
Yeah.
It's just something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to ask because I do like country. Who are your female artist inspirations?
My female artist inspirations. One thing I'll say is I really like Lainey Wilson.
Yeah.
We do a couple of songs, and I feel like I sound a lot. I can kind of sound. We do Wait in the Truck, and whenever Lainey sings, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do. I can relate to her voice and stuff, and so I really like Lainey. Watermelon Moonshine by her is one of my favorites. I like Kelly Clarkson a lot. She's amazing.
I don't care what she sings.
She can sing anything, like anything.
Just hand her the phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She can sing absolutely anything. You know, I like Gabby Barrett, Carrie Underwood. We do Before He Cheats. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That is a
That's
good
one.
song.
It is
Yeah.
a good song.
That's a really good song.
really
Yeah.
There's a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I hope she didn't live that one, but there's a story.
Whoever wrote it
Oh
probably
no,
did.
the way she sings it,
I
sounds
hope
like she might have.
I hope she
tore that
did
truck
live that
down.
one. I hope she did.
She tore that.
I
thing
hope he
down.
got what was coming.
Yeah.
It just sounds like fun. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it does.
She does the Sunday Night Football song too. That's
Yeah.
my wife and I trip on that. Because back in the day, I used to watch those competition shows. Like I remember Kelly Clarkson winning the first season of American Idol. It was
Yeah.
crazy the career she had. Like who's her and Carrie Underwood? Like who else has really reached that level of success from
Nobody.
those shows? You know, so-
Daughtry.
but did he?
All right.
I don't know, man.
Chris
People.
Stapleton.
Like Chris
Scotty
Underwood
McCreery?
and
Scotty
Kelly Clarkson
McCreery did
level?
that. Yeah, Scotty McCreery.
I mean, yeah, Scotty is local, but he's not at the same level.
Yeah, he's not at the
Yeah,
same.
I'm just saying, like
But
American
you gotta
Idol nailed
go
it.
back
Yeah.
to the early
Yeah.
American
Yeah.
Idols to get those stars.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, there's like we have one of the girls that comes to our open mic and sings just participated in a competition that's more on like a local level. That I think the prize was to get a show at Old Red.
Yeah.
And
That's what it was.
you know, like there's people still doing that, and I think those type of like competitions are great for music. You know, for exposure, getting people, you know, exposure. It's so hard to be
Yeah.
successful doing
I
art.
had my experience with, you know, I'm not allowed to say what it was, but last summer I spent in California and I was filming on one of the major.
How was that experience for you? Talk a little bit about the experience. We don't have to say the name of it.
Yeah, so it was my first time ever, because I mean I've been to California, but it was my first time staying out there as long as I did, which is me and my mom, and it's very much, you know, TV, and you're out there and you're going to Universal and you're doing wardrobe and you're doing all of that. It's really cool whenever you get to experience all of that, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair
about
enough.
it.
Fair enough. You know,
Yeah.
You don't want to start pooping on
Yeah.
opportunities, but
Yeah, I mean, it was a good opportunity. It was cool, and yeah, we got pictures and everything. We can't post them, but you know, still a really good opportunity, and it can open doors for people.
Very cool. Very cool. Have you guys ever considered getting on one of these competition shows?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Greg can sing really good. He
geez.
did it a couple nights ago.
Look, I tell you what, if they created a show called Look, he can still do it.
That's a really good idea.
Such a dude show.
So do you take Advil every day? No, I don't.
Advil and coffee.
Yeah,
Advil and coffee, baby.
Oh my goodness.
That's a man over 40.
yeah, they're not looking for me. I'm fine right where I am.
It's funny. There's this show on Netflix my wife and I are watching called Love Is Blind.
Yeah.
You know about this show?
Yep.
Do you guys know about this show?
I've seen it. I haven't watched it.
Do you know about it,
Sorry.
Greg?
Which one? Love is
Love
Blind?
Is Blind.
I've heard about it.
It's
Yeah.
the
Just shoot an episode like at Carowinds or something.
well, this whole season's Charlotte.
Oh,
This
okay.
whole season, yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
Sorry.
The concept is you got men on one side and women on another living in these houses, and they go into these pods where they can't see who they're talking to. So you're forced to like have these conversations with a member of the opposite sex, and you can't see what they look like. And the idea is to like some of these people are going to find love, and they kind of follow them, like people that decide to be together, and they take them on like this little wistful away vacation, and they follow them through marriage and stuff. And it's funny because I'm sitting there watching it, and like everyone on there is like young and hot. And I'm like, I want to see the trailer park version of this.
Yeah.
I want to see the 40-something-year-olds that have 2 kids and they're divorced. Like, that's the Love Is
Fall in
Blind I
love
want to
with
see.
that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's lived a little bit.
Yeah,
That would be
it would
interesting.
definitely be interesting.
It'd be way more fun
All
to
that
watch.
baggage on both sides.
Yes.
I mean, that might be just as good as Tiger King. So
Look, there's a reason they don't put us normies on TV.
it's the right type of train wreck.
That would be called Love is Gastonia.
Oh, let me tell you, whenever I was out there in California last year, my mom was out there. I wasn't worried because they had to do interviews with me. Like, my family had to do interviews. And so they flew my dad out there, and I was fine with my mom. I knew she was going to watch what she says. Like, I was fine. My dad, me and my mom were both nervous about what was going to come out of his mouth because he doesn't watch what he says. He just says what comes to his mind. And so we were like, okay, don't say anything that you would say at home. Just don't say that, okay? And so luckily he didn't talk that much, so it was good.
I feel that. My teenage daughter,
Yes.
I get a lot of that energy from her, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even on this episode, I'm trying to like clean my language up, be conscious of it. Just because, I'm sure your fan base isn't going to appreciate me dropping F-bombs left and right. So, speaking of fan base, your social media following is growing. You do post a lot. Is there like a structure in place, like a plan for this whole generation, like this a whole new aspect of the business that no one my age dealt with. So there's a little more pressure. There's a lot more to do. What's your approach there, and what's your philosophy on like how you use social media? Because like we were talking about earlier, it can also lead to some really, scary situations. Right. So how are you approaching that?
Yeah, I mean, on social media, it's a really great way to, grow your following. Because, a lot of people that I play out, they come and see me. And so it's really cool, that people actually pay attention and, they want to come out and see my music and stuff. And so, yeah, I try and post a lot. I try and keep everything updated at where I'm playing and everything. And I get a lot of messages, like, on Messenger. And I try and respond to everybody that I can. But, again, there's been, like, there's few that are just weird. Mm-hmm. And, like, I've gotten some calls from, like, Pakistan. And so we don't answer those. But, we try and post, every day, and I try and, let people know where I'm playing and everything.
There will come a time where you can't answer messages.
Yeah.
And in fact, I know Instagram has an option where you can limit who can message you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a nice tool for someone who's got 50,000 followers. It's even just from this place, I get a ton of messages, and sometimes I'll look at them and be like, whoa. What is this in this person's head that they said these things? It's weird, but I just ignore those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. You've got a real fun ride ahead of you if you play your cards right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to see you succeed. You're a hometown girl. You've got the bug. You've got all the pieces are in place. Now you got to put the puzzle together, right?
Yeah.
Well, having said that, we also want to see you succeed, man. You've got passion for Gastonia and bringing live music. And as you talk about all the time on social media, it's like, guys, here's what everybody wants. Where you at? Come out and support live local music. And
I appreciate that.
And all the bands and everybody really appreciate, what you've done. I know, look at this place. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
And I've played here 3 times with him. Before you.
We did the Christmas Jam.
Yeah.
Christmas Jam. I opened for Tangerine Trees.
Jefferson Avenue opened up.
I was in Jefferson Avenue.
That's right.
And then Revon. Boy, that was a mind-blowing
That was a fun
experience
show.
night.
That was a really fun show.
Oh, I'm here for that one.
Man,
That was
so
early
good.
on.
There's some fun times.
So
in
much
there.
potential here.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't frustrating. Because and that's why I'm going to continue to do like the tribute shows and stuff like that, because that's kind of what keeps the bills paid. But like last night, which this isn't your scene, but we had metal bands here last night, and the 3 of those 4 bands were really impressive.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. But the room wasn't full. And it's like, and from my mind, I'm like, so many people are missing out on this experience that we're having. And, everybody says that, your favorite singer, your favorite artist, your favorite band, they were a local band when they got started. And, you get out there and support them. The part that, I was even, before I opened this place, I was guilty of my wife and I dropping $300, $400, $500 on a night out to go see a concert. The ticket prices are through the roof now. And I'm at the point now where it's like, I don't really even want to go to these big shows anymore, because all I'm doing is feeding that machine that's putting me out of business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Thankfully, like we were talking about before kids, before kids, and you drop everything and put everything to rest. It was, okay, who's playing here? What do they sound like? Nobody does that anymore. Nobody goes, oh, I've never heard of them. Go listen to them. Do we want to go to this show? Why not? Let's go.
That's why I created the playlist. Yeah. I spent an entire Saturday afternoon in my office a couple weeks ago. Everybody's like, Michael! I'm in there, and I went back through our calendar. And every single band that's played here, if they've got music on Spotify, I put it in in a playlist for that genre.
Playlist.
So now we've got all the different genres. Everyone that's played here, if your music's on Spotify, we have a playlist for it.
Bailey's got a few on Spotify.
Yep. And after Saturday she'll be on there. I try to wait till everyone's played here to add them to the list. It's like a living, breathing thing. Problem is, I don't know how to get that out to people. I shared it on social, but it's like how to keep that. And it's like, this is how you get to know what's going on in your own backyard. Because I don't know about you, but if I can go out for $100, ticket, bar tab, and I've spent less than $100 and I had a great time, that's way better than $500.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's way better. So, I would encourage you to come out to shows and support these local artists.
Yeah, for $100 or less, you can come see the show, get drinks, and buy merch.
And I'll even say this: even if the show's not spectacular, we've had some.
You can still have a good time.
Yeah, you can still have a good time. We've had some comedy shows that were cringeworthy, but you end up having just as much fun because you're like, this is a shit show.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone walks away with a little something.
Or if you know somebody, you're looking, I'm going, what's going on? What's
Really
happening?
good rum and coke.
Right.
Well, they got great drink prices.
Yeah.
And we do. We have great drink prices.
Yeah.
And with this being a Saturday show, let's see, our Saturday special is $3 Fireball shots.
Yeah.
And $1 off drafts.
Yep.
So that alone is a reason to come drink some Cavendish beer. But really, while we're talking today, is because Bailey Marie Griggs is headlining this Saturday, March 16th. Adam Church is here. Elijah Ray, Trace Casanova. This is going to be a fun time. Doors will be open at 6 o'clock. Get the tickets on our website in advance. Save a few bucks. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I encourage everybody to come out. It's always a lot more fun whenever there's a crowd that's really involved with the show, and it's just everybody's feeding off of the energy of each other, and so I encourage everybody to come out. Yeah.
Fellas, anything you want to plug?
You can get right up to the stage here.
Yes.
I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the crowd slowly as the night goes on. They start moving up closer and closer and closer to the stage, which is a great feeling.
I do get a lot of feedback on the intimacy that we provide. You know, you just, you know,
Great sound.
yeah, the energy in this room is like, I've been to so
It's-
many
yeah.
like mom and pop spots and bars and stuff for live music, and honestly, when we have a full room here, it's unmatched.
Yeah.
The adrenaline that gets pumping, the sense of community, all that stuff. The reason why I opened this place, the reason why we all love doing this, like it's here.
There's nothing like being up there and then, like, if you're introducing somebody, it's just the energy exchange. And it's the same for you. It's the energy exchange. You see how they're enjoying it. You're like, yes, let's go even harder.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so much more fun.
We
It's
played
like-
here when they're down both hallways.
Oh, yeah.
And the people don't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
They
have to
stay till
talk
the
them out
end.
of the hallways. I'm like, oh, come out to the front of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly that feeling. You know, that's, you know, not to get too philosophical here, but that's my church. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's, you know, that's how I feel alive when that energy's in the room like that. You know, and you can feel it. It's like electricity running through
And
you.
this place has a good energy base to start with.
Yeah. Yeah, we put out good, you know, so well, fortunately, knock on wood, we haven't really had issues with like people coming in and trying to start fights, and like we don't let people get too drunk. Like we keep things safe, and,
Yes.
and we're an all ages venue. You know, we'll have metal shows where there's like 5 8-year-olds moshing. You
There's
know what
a
I'm
kid
saying?
pit.
Like, yeah, there's
and I
like
will tell them, there's a kid pit.
yeah.
I will come down off the stage if I see you hit a kid. So stay over there, stay away from them.
Yeah.
And my philosophy on that is, you know, I want to help inspire the next generation of artists, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing this. I will give Scott one more plug. He's not going to do it. Scott, if you need any web design done, call Moon Ray.
I'll help you out. Yeah.
He does our website, and he does a fantastic job. Thanks again for doing this, guys. I really appreciate it. Come see him this Saturday. We're going to have a great time. Peace and love.